roll up now. From Keeley, from Jessica. So now we've got 2 shearers for the orders. So let me just check in
The Falkland Islands shearing and wool handling competitions were back at the FITV Hall for another year. The historic event, which has been running annually, was broken up into a variety of categories, with the ultimate prize of having the accolade of being the best shearer and a wool handler in the Falkland Islands. An estimated 300 sheep were transported from Walker Creek, as the shearers oiled their shears and the wool handlers perfected their throws. Much needed points were also on offer, which accumulate throughout the season for competitors who hope to travel to the international stage at the World Finals in Glasgow 2023.
We have different categories. We have an open, we have a senior, we have a junior competition, which is very important, junior shearers coming on. We have a veterans competition. Last year we had there was a competition for the first competition for going away to represent the Falklands, so it would be a Falkland Islander thing again to cheer for the Falklands. I think it's 2023 now in Glasgow, I think. So today's points will be added on that, and tonight we'll be able to announce who's going to represent the Falklands in wool handling and shearing as well.
In the shearing competition, competitors have to shear a certain number of sheep. Whilst time is important, it doesn't necessarily mean victory, as penalty points can be given by a judge should the sheep be cut or the quality of wool cut isn't up to the standard required.
You have the judges rotating and they're looking for second cuts where they brought the comb off the wool and go back and take that little bit off, so they get deducted a point for that. A piece about the size of your little finger for 5 points. And then I judge out the back again for any ridges or little nicks. Same system again. So they're getting penalised right from the start, but your time counts, but it's not everything.
The Wool Handling Open kick-started the day, as 10 were separated into 5 heats, with a total of 4 making it to the final. In the wool handling section, the competitors were judged on their time, fleece throwing and separation skills. Early on, a shock was on the cards as the 2019 champion and experienced wool agent Vicky Bernstein finished outside the 4 qualifying spots with a total score of 35.6. It was Tara Wilson who took the 4th seed. Last year's bronze medalist Pilar Castro took the 3rd seed, with the next best overall score of 31.1. One of the more experienced in the competition, Faye-Ann Alasia, qualified as the 2nd seed, and leading the pack was Falkland Islander Kaylee Anderson, with an overall score of 26.2. The Open Championship saw 7 battle it out in 2 heats for the top 4 spots in the final. 5 sheep needed to be shorn, with the lowest scores going through. It was a return for arguably some of the finest shearing competitors the Falkland Islands have ever had. Last year's runners-up Lee Molkenberg set the ball rolling, taking the top seed with an overall score of 36.1. This was closely followed by long-term shearing rival Paul Phillips, who looked to defend his title, and Jan Clark taking the 3rd spot. Rhianna Lazier from the West Falklands made history by being the first lady to reach the final since the competition began, taking the 4th final qualifying spot. With the qualifying over for 2 major events, it was time for the veterans to pick up the shears in a 4-person final, shearing 3 sheep each. Previous Open winner Keith Heathman finished in the 4th, with 2019 veteran champion Tim Bonner settling for 3rd. Lenny Ford, who just missed out on top spot last year, managed to wave away the competition, defeating Ben Burston, picking up the Veterans Trophy with an overall score of 43.38. As with the veterans, the juniors stepped to the mark, showcasing the best future talent the Falklands has to offer. In the final, 4 competitors had to shear 4 sheep. It proved to be Jordan Phillips' day, taking the gold medal with an overall score of 46.6, nearly 5 points ahead of second place Jackalasia, and Lacan Crowe taking bronze. Straight from the junior final, Jordan Phillips qualified for the seniors final, which included South African Koos, Falkland Islander Yayan Ford and Rian Alasia, all shearing 7 sheep to determine the senior crown. Rian, who finished last year in second place, took the initiative and defeated Koos to lift the senior trophy, beating her score last year with an overall score of 48.9.
I was begging my dad from when I was like 8 to shear sheep. When I was 15, I did my first 100. Yeah, and then when I was 18, I joined the gang. I shore for, well, this is my 4th season, but I haven't been shearing this year. So 3 seasons in the shearing gang. Got my 300 when I was 19 at North Arm, yeah. Haven't done anything better than that since, but you know, still got loads of time.
The shears were put down as it was time for the Woolhandling final. The competition went to the wire as Pilar Castro, who has 5 years experience, defeated Tara Wilson by just a 1/10 of a point to lift the Woolhandling trophy for the first time in her career. For Pilar, the victory also puts her in good stead towards her goal of qualifying to represent the Falklands in Glasgow.
Yeah, but how are you feeling now about your victory?
Oh, I'm really happy, really happy. I'm very proud of myself. Always wanted to do and achieve something this year as well, so yeah, I'm really happy. When I first started, I had no experience. Like, I lived on a farm before when I was a kid and that, growing up, but I never wasn't interested in wool. Then I got with my partner, he wanted to be a shearer. I thought, oh well, I might take it. And then with my second season, I got sent away to New Zealand, and then ever since New Zealand I have learned a lot, and I got to this point.
In the open final, 10 sheep had to be shorn, in what proved to be both an exciting and nerve-wracking final. Jan Clark began vibrantly and established an early lead over Lee Molkenburg. Molkenburg, with years of experience under his belt, struck back by edging slightly into the lead at the midway point, with Paul Phillips also maintaining pace. As the final progressed, the crowd became louder and continued to hand their support to the shearers, as it was impossible to call who was going to claim victory at the closing stages. Phillips and Clark both arrived at the 10th sheep mark, with seconds separating them. For the 2020 Rosebar Speed Shear champion, it was Phillips who managed to prevail based on speed alone by just 5 milliseconds. But ultimately it was left to the judges to decide whether any penalty points should be applied. Certainly one to watch for the future, Rian Alasia, with 4 years experience, picked up 4th position with an overall score of 68.25.
You kept pace with the veterans that have done it for so long.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard. Like, they were going for it. I was struggling to keep up, but I was only 1 sheep behind them. And we had to do 10 as well, so I'm just so happy. No, like, it has been a pretty awful year, so yeah, this has made things go better. Yeah, definitely.
It wasn't to be a second successive year for Paul Phillips, who has 25 years experience, as he picked up the 3rd place position with an overall score of 51.85. 2018 winner Lee Molkenburg accumulated the least number of penalty points, but it wasn't enough to lift the crown, settling for the runners-up position. Leaving Jan Clark to discard his 2019 bronze medal and take the 2020 Open Shearing Championship crown with an overall score of 49.3. 2020 champion, third place last year, so a massive improvement. How are you feeling?
Very excited, yeah. Like, has been a few years coming. Well, been trying to do it for the last 3 years, so yeah. Yeah, no, happy, yeah, very happy. I didn't think I would have got it over Paul and Malks, but they are exceptionally very good shearers as well, yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, I managed to do it and I'm over the moon with it, yeah.
With the 2020 edition at a close, the Shearing and Woolhandling champions crowned. All that was left to do is to have a celebratory country dance, as the shearing community, an important part of Falkland's heritage, look ahead to future events.
We always send 2 shearers and 2 rousies away, and they do extremely well. I know Lee Malkenberg got into the semi-final, top 12 of the team, individual. Vicky and Sammy, a good few years ago, got 3rd in the world in the team. So I mean, it's all there, and all them big boys from around the world, they know the Falklands boys are there, and the girls, and they always think, great, they're here, they're in with a shot or something. So it is big at the moment.
What advice would you give them? What would you say to them that maybe want to
Just get stuck in, yeah. No, just beg if you have to, if you can shear a sheep, yeah. Just go for it, because it's the best job in the world, yeah.